Ontario Court of Justice, Civil. File to be announced. Ontario Court of Justice, Family 47902. Ontario Court of Justice, Family File 47902. Supreme Court of Canada, file to be announced. Congratulations to Ms. Olivia Chow for entering the mayoral race for the City of Toronto. I believe she comes with quite an extensive amount of experience and will be a formidable foe for all the other candidates. Looking forward to debating and seeing those debates that will transpire over the next few months leading up to the election. I just want to touch on a few subject matters. I don't want this to be too long a video. However, a couple of subject matters that we have not heard from all the candidates, first being the pollution and smog, and the other being revenues to help in reducing people's property taxes, because I believe strongly in order for the city to grow, we need to get residents into the city to spending money, giving them the opportunity to spend the money, and that way we'll supply the business, drive the residents to the businesses, the many restaurants and shops and boutiques and so forth, to branding the city, rebranding the city, giving the city perfect image and continuing to growing it. And the goal is to ensuring that the City of Toronto is recognized as the greatest city in the world moving forward, as we live in the greatest country in the world. Now, I want to touch on first the transit aspect, the talk of putting in a relief line. I don't believe that is a wise idea because, again, the cost of building something like this for really trying to utilize it between rush hours. Now, what I suspect should occur is that the Toronto Transit Commission and the city should sit down and run over data from whatever data they've been able to collect on the amount of people that do take the transit between the rush hours, and designate between the hours of 7 and 9 a.m. Express trains running intermittent with the regular trains. What would occur is they would reduce on the regular trains by a train or a car and add that car to the express train. So the express train would run on scheduled time from Shepherd, would stop at Eglinton, would stop at Yonge and Dundas, or Yonge and Bloor, sorry, and Yonge and Dundas, and then King, and then onwards to Union Station. So what you're doing is avoiding the other stations and then allowing for traffic to move. Now, the cars that will have the trains that will have the less cars would then be scheduled to pick up people who really, just to move traffic along, and then or people could wait for the express trains or go to those stations advised to the express trains moving forward to ease with congestion. The other is that I believe the City of Toronto should consider now the creating more one-way streets, and this is this is a convenient way and a cost-effective way of reducing congestion throughout the city and assuring to emergency services and assuring that the transit arrives on schedule, streetcars, buses, and so forth. Now, I'll use for an example King Street, which runs east and west, should be one way, running east from Roncesvalles one way, which would allow for 4 lanes, and it would end really at Yonge or thereafter and permit for emergency vehicles, ambulance, police, fire, and even cabs to be able to get to and from more quickly, as well to ease any sort of congestion. The other direction would be Dundas. So Dundas would run west one way from Yonge and would end, I would say, about Bathurst, which would move a lot of traffic, and Queen Street remaining the same, to permitting for people to use more transit, use the transit. I want to touch on also, to assist the Toronto Transit with raising more revenues, I believe the transfers could become a marketing tool, which would permit for the city and other corporate entities to reducing waste. I mean, I walk around the city and I see it all over: cigarette butts, cups, coffee cups, wrappers, and things like this. And it's truthfully quite disgusting. And I don't think people would want to live in those kinds of conditions. And I truly believe they should really do their best. These businesses who are making this money to tell their customers to really do their best to reduce their waste. And I think the transfers could be used as part of that, where the businesses would provide products, services, and so forth to the Transit Commission as prizes, and the transfers be used as a lottery ticket per se. And then that way, people would take the transfers home and be able to check in online, you know what I mean, for whatever numbers, maybe the number for that transfer is drawn that day, and the prize is allotted, and it's up to the people who won the prize to contact the Transit Commission to pick up their prize and so forth. And what you're doing is building relationships, reducing the stress that does exist, and any sort of aggression between potential passengers and the transit employees. I want to touch on also the aspect of the smog and pollution that's in the downtown core, especially in the summer, and is very dangerous. And I honestly would like for someone to really run a test to show them. I mean, the smog is quite thick. You're able to see it from any direction in the summer, especially over the buildings in the downtown core. And I honestly believe that it's time that the city begin to bring in toll booths located at 3 or 4 strategic places that are bringing traffic into the city to help congestion, to help ease the costs of handling and the damage to the roads, as well as to fund the cost of transit, to fund the cost of really the Gardner, which really needs to come down. And they should be building boulevards moving forward, 7, 8 lanes to moving trucks, cars, and so forth in and out of the city very quickly. The toll booths for the idea I thought would be on the lake shore, not the lake shore, the QEW, Queen Elizabeth Highway, right by just before the lake shore exit, and the other heading west would also be across from that same location, and would charge you $1 to pass each way, and that way the revenues generated could now go to repairing the roads and the incredible amount of potholes that are out the city, and outright repairing worn out and dilapidated pipes and infrastructure. So moving forward. The other is that they could begin to repairing the electric poles. If you are able to see some of these poles leaning, you go up Keele Street from Keele Station, it starts from under Dundas West, heading north. You begin to see that there are poles leaning and are quite dangerous. And knock on wood, it does not happen, but it's something that needs to be addressed to avoiding any further concerns. I think also back to the one-way street, the Toronto Transit Commission is a good commission. It's growing, and we move a lot of people each day. It's now beginning accolades for the service. However, the congestion is the issue, one of the major issues to address. I think honestly that Yonge Street also could be one way, but not from. It would run from Front Street and Yonge all the way up to Davenport. And what it would permit for is for the buses and cars to be heading one direction, reducing traffic, and people would be able to find a way down either Avenue Road and Bay Street to get south into the city moving forward. So these are some of the ideas that I would like to bring forward to the mayoral debate and campaigning. Should it not occur, I would like to bring this to the City of Toronto through way of consultation, as this is property of Taija Health and Marketing, a division of Taija Sports and Entertainment Management. I have been working on quite a few other initiatives that I'd present by way of video through this forum for future or leading up to the mayoral debate and campaigning moving forward. Again, without prejudice, property of Taja Health and Marketing, division of Taja Sports and Entertainment Management. Today is Friday, March 14th, 2014.